If you'll cover the financial report, please.
Okay, current financial report, $13,132.48 in the account. The last thing we had that needed to clear was the city of Rich rehab truck, to finally clear $3,190. And then the contract pay, which brought a balance to the $13,132.48. Another thing with it is usually between April and May is when I start to send out the letters to all the entities for the LEPC contribution. So I'm already printing those out. I'm going to start sending those. I'm going to send them through email contacts, and I usually send out an actual letter that's on the judge letterhead and all that stuff, that it's more official. But I'll send those out as well to the agency, so y'all should be receiving that pretty soon.
Right, Jay, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not seeing the financial report. Is anybody able to see that on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. I'm gonna split screen. Okay. So based on what we're seeing, I will entertain a motion to accept the financial report as read.
So moved. It's Alan.
Alan with the first. Angie with a second. To the second. Go thumbs up. Maybe.
Is that who?
Second, Red Cross.
Warren second. All right. I'm just going to make this easy. We'll just do assume all in favor unless I see any opposed. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 4, jury the compliance report.
Go all the way. Okay, so compliance report since the last meeting, I've had from P66 one power outage with subsequent upsets. This was actually a pretty lengthy report. I got on the initial report, and then I follow up to this. This one's 10 pages. The follow up was like 15 pages. So I have these in the meeting file. So if anybody wants that, I could send that to them, or if I get a request for it, we can release it. But that's the only one I got since last week.
Any questions or discussions on that? Entertain a motion to accept the compliance report.
So moved.
Alan, the first. We have a second.
Second, John.
All right. Again, assuming all in favor, any opposed? Seeing none, we will accept the compliance report. Moving on, the right to know committee. Alan?
So I don't have anything new on right to know at the present time. I haven't had the chance to get back into my steers account and look at see if I had the tier 2 information available for the remainder of the county. So.
And I have not been able to follow up with that either yet on your account, Alan. So I got that on my list. I'll keep working on that.
Okay.
There's no other discussion. We'll move on to item number 6, public education information. John or Warren?
Warren here. Right now, the only item that we're working on is updating our shelter agreements with our partners in Hutchinson County. And there's 8 of them, and they range from the Johnson Park Youth Center to the Stinnett Clemens CISD Field House. And there's not really anything remarkable about this. It's just that we like to go through our shelter agreements once a year and then re-enter them into our database. And that's the main thing. And I can't help but notice that a lot of vendors are trying to get into the post-pandemic mode. And there's a lot of interesting looking values out there for PPE at the moment. Does anyone have any questions over our shelter agreements or anything else the Red Cross is doing at this time? Very good. I'm done.
All right, we'll move on to item number 7, Hazardous Materials Facilities Liaison Committee. Bill's not here. Mike, do you have anything on that?
No, nothing new to report on the Hazardous Materials Committee. Not much going on right now.
All right, that'll move us to 8, which should be relatively brief. We don't have Bob or Zeb. Emergency Response and Resource Committees. Again, we don't have either of those. Does anybody else have anything in general to share about upcoming drills or training opportunities?
So not drills or training opportunities, but I would like to say, I think that the 3 entities worked well last night on the structure fire due to multiple events going on at the same time. Stinnett and Fritz were called in to assist Borger since they were tied up with an MCI at the same time. I think everything went pretty well last night.
All right, I do know that sometime towards the end of the summer, City of Amarillo is looking to host an IS 300-400. If anyone's needing that, you might just keep your, I don't have anything solid yet, other than end of summer that came up during our public officials workshop last week. So again, if anybody needs that, or any of your people need that, just keep your eyes open and try to get them signed up. All right, so we will move on to unfinished business. COVID-19 update.
You can go to the next one. Okay, currently Hutchinson County, 1,547 confirmed cases. That's up 23 since our last meeting. 497 probable, it's up 18. Total of 2,044 county cases. Currently, we're sitting at 8 active cases. That's up 5 since the last meeting. Recovered cases, 1,960. Fatalities are still setting at 71. There's no change since last meeting. This is a current statewide positive COVID data. This is 574 confirmed cases yesterday. This is roughly staying about that same average as far as at least the 7-day type average. So newly reported fatalities for, any fatality is bad, but that's still staying in the single digits. Every once in a while it'll fluctuate to the double digits, but it's actually quite a bit lower than we're normally seeing. So it's good news. This is statewide hospital data. 2,060 COVID-19 patients in Texas hospitals right now. So there's available ICU beds. We're still looking pretty good. Ventilators, just all in general available hospital beds. We're looking pretty good in that area. This is the statewide positivity rate, or testing positivity rate at 2.15%. You can see on the graph there, it's decreasing quite a bit, and we're staying at the same level. And then mostly, I think, with our situation around here, with either having people that have had the virus previously or vaccinated, we've reached I think a level of immunity, not 100% of course, but we have reached some sort of level of immunity within the community. That's why we're not seeing, these spikes in cases. But we're still, and I don't want to get anybody false beliefs or anything. We're still getting positive testing. We're still testing positive cases around here in the area. So it is still out there. The virus is still out there. So just still be cautious of what we're doing. our trauma service area for our region. Current available hospital beds 257, available ICU beds 8, available ventilators 150, and COVID patients in the hospitals 22. This is Northwest Texas BSA statistics from last meeting to today, so you can kind of see the difference in the numbers there. They're really staying about the same month to month in this same area. This is our trauma service area A, our hospitalization rate. So you can see that continues to come down from January, February, March, April, and then today. This is Golden Plains numbers for Golden Plains as of the 23rd. They had a couple of positive patients test this last week, so I bet you can see that as far as stressing the hospital system or anything in our area, we're still looking really well in our area. On the vaccine side of things, we have since we started administering vaccines in Hutchinson County, we've given 5,560 first doses. That's up 371 first doses just since the last meeting. So, we're still getting people coming in and getting vaccines out to people. Second dose 4,507, up 507 since last meeting. So total in Hutchinson County, we've given out 10,117 vaccines. Availability of vaccines, you still get Pfizer, Border Pharmacy, and CVS. United is actually working on getting Pfizer as well. I don't know if they've got it yet or not, but they're working on it. And Moderna, you can get it Border Pharmacy, United, and Walmart. And then there is some providers that are still on the list to get. I don't know if they're still getting vaccine or not. A lot of them have kind of pushed that into the pharmacies because it's easier for pharmacies to give vaccinations than it is for your local doctor's offices, because they have to set up new patients and all that. It's easier for pharmacies, so they're really trying to push it out to the pharmacy. Other than that, I think that's all I have.
I got a question.
Yeah.
When you report 10,000 and some people vaccinated for Hutchinson County, is that vaccinated in Hutchinson County, or does that include people vaccinated like in Amarillo who live in Hutchinson County?
So this statistic is off of whenever you get your vaccine on your immunization record that you turn in, your address that you put on that record. So yes, this does include if you had received the vaccine, you live in Hutchinson County, but you got your vaccine in Amarillo.
Any other questions?
On the data you showed that there were 0 positive tests for the 21st. Is that just testing that was completed at Golden Plains, or is that Hutchinson County-wide? Because I think the state was showing that we had 8 positive cases for the 21st.
Right, 8 active cases within the county, yes. So it isn't specific to Golden Plains, no.
So the part of the problem with that, Darren, is those positive tests could have been from 2 or 3 weeks ago that they finally reported.
Yeah, there's still a significant delay, and so whenever you see positivity rates and cases, stuff like that, you got to kind of take it a little bit with a grain of salt, because there's some delay when we actually see that statistic come onto.
And they're still cleaning up a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
records. These people have recovered and gone on.
Right. There's a lot of data that they're trying to clean up still. And you'll have an influx of a couple of or 20 or 30 cases, and then they'll move them into the recovered category because they're just trying to get them through the system that were not caught or not reported correctly or whatnot. So yeah, there's still a lot of information that's not correct when it comes to the state reporting.
So on their end, they're reporting as far as the day of receipt in regards to when they get the data and not necessarily going back and putting it on the correct date based on the test date or anything.
Right, yeah, it's really kind of all over the place as far as how they're putting, or what date they're actually putting that in.
All righty, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other discussion on the COVID-19 update? All right, we'll move on to the other item in unfinished business. Consider and or approve the Fritch and Stinnett pre-attack plan review and make final payment to Bowtie Fire. Jerry?
Make the motion to make the payment to Bowtie Fire. I have reviewed the plans and I'm happy with what we have received.
Any other discussion on that?
I guess I'd like to better understand what we're talking about here. Now, these are we approving the plans, or are we approving the payment? And how much is the payment?
I believe it's both, John. Let's have Jerry clarify, but again, I think we're making the final approval to accept the plans and then also to make the final payment. I believe we've made a partial already. We have a balance. Is that correct, Jerry?
Correct, I just put it up here on the screen.
Okay.
This is the final invoice for the, so Bowtie Fire originally, this is pre-COVID, had, came in and the LEPC had awarded Bowtie Fire this contract to write this pre-attack fire plans for the city of Fritch and Stinnett. And the total cost of this was $5,000. We had already paid out that the differences between that.
1250.
Yeah, 1,250. So we'd already paid out that amount to Bowtie Fire, but kind of COVID kind of got in the way and everything kind of slowed down. He had worked on the plans and finally got a final draft of the plan, had submitted it to me. I'd given them out to Deb and Alan to review. And then in the last meeting, we had chose to give it till this meeting for them to look over the plan to see if it's exactly what they had discussed as far as this pre-attack fire plan document. If approved, or if it was what they were looking for, then we would submit the final payment to Bowtie Fire for that document.
Do you know
Okay, so-
if Zeb is approved and commented on the Fritch plan? Have you heard anything from him?
Yes, I did talk to Zeb. He read through the plan. He said that everything looked good on the Fritch fire attack plan, and he would approve the document.
Okay, so both of the agencies that are affected by it are on board. They've approved it. Jerry, do you want to do this as two different motions to make it easier?
You can, that'll work.
Does anybody have any other discussion on the final attack plans or the pre-attack plans? All right, hearing none. I know we had a motion. Alan, do you want your motion to stand for both and we can just carry through that way?
Yeah, I'm good with both of them.
All right, so we have a motion from Alan to accept the pre-attack plans and make final payment to Bowtie Fire. Do we have a second?
Second,
Don.
Warren, Red Cross.
All right, and on this one, since we are making a payment, if we could, everybody that is in favor, please raise your hand. All right, any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Moving on to item number 10, new business.
Angie has her hand raised. Oh,
I think that was her vote, if I'm not mistaken.
okay.
Okay, yeah, she's been voting with the hand raised for the last couple. So, does anybody have any new business? Hearing none, we will move on to item number 11. Discuss the next meeting date and adjourn. Does anybody have a preference one way or another as far as whether we keep doing virtual or if we want to get back to in person?
I like in person.
As do I, John. That's I was trying to feel out. I know some people for their schedules it's easier. So one thing I discussed with Jerry before we got started is the possibility of opening it up for in-person for those that do want to get together and, have that face-to-face. We can, go back to the college possibly and do lunch. And for those that the schedule maybe isn't quite as you're free, we could always Zoom that meeting still from our in-person event for those that need to come in remotely. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I like
agree.
the idea of a hybrid meeting.
Yeah, I think that with a lot of schedules, especially with some of the shift, there are a lot of places that have gone completely virtual. There are some of us that, again, prefer that interaction. So if anybody's, Jerry, do we need a motion for that, or this is a discussion? Isn't it?
Yeah, just you'll tell me what you want. And
All right, so let's look at calendars then, and we'll look and see. Jerry, do we have anything coming up that is pressing as far as needing to set?
I do. I'm actually going next week. I'm having surgery and I'll be out for a couple of weeks after that. So at least on my end, it'd probably be better to maybe July.
Okay.
Or
That's what I was asking, is that there's nothing on the agenda that's coming up that we need to vote on before then?
no, that
Okay.
after the bow tie, that was the last thing we had pending as far as any payment or anything like that.
All right, I know summers get a little more difficult for everybody. Looking out in July, does anybody have any issue with the 27th?
Nope, I'm good with the 27th.
Jerry, do we want to go ahead and set a tentative date for the 27th at noon?
27th at noon.
For those that want to meet in person, we can, get there at 11:30 for those that want to do lunch, and then we can start the meeting at noon. And then again, anybody who needs to come in remotely can just dial in.
Location, you want me to try for the college?
Yeah, if we get to college, I think that works for, I think, most of us. Anybody have any other suggestions that would work? Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try for that, Jerry, if they're free.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Not, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Alan with the first,
Second, Red Cross, Warren.
Warren, all in favor? We'll say thank you to everyone that was able to make it, giving us a quorum. That way we can get those items settled out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, thanks.